What's poppin', everyone? It's your boy Levi. We're here for some VOD review. Thank you all to whoever submitted your games. It should be a fun one. Just give me 1 second. I am still eating my burrito. I thought I'd be finished in time before the intro started, but I am not. So how are you guys all doing today? How are you? Are you guys having a good Friday? Is it a wonderful Friday? Super excited for this. It's season 2, episode 1 of VOD review. So starting off the season. Struggling to finish your shawarma? I love shawarma. Or I should say I used to love shawarma. I haven't had one in a while. Masters was fun. Yeah, I caught the last game. I will probably try to catch tomorrow's game. I forgot that was starting this weekend. Hi, we're going to be going over tons of tips. We'll go over tons of tips and tricks today, so your questions will 100% be answered. If you do have specific questions, feel free to let me know in the chat, but I will do my best to try and cover as much as possible in these games. Proper build for Laura. For all builds, you can actually access the test subject Discord, and it's a Discord that talks about every character. It will keep you up to date on all the characters. I will put a link in the chat for you. I'm not much of a Laura player anymore. I used to be, so I don't really know the current builds for her, but join that Discord and you will 100% be able to find the build for her. Just as a refresh, who are your mains again? My most knowledgeable character is Rozzy. I've been playing a lot of backline characters. I've been playing more so frontline characters recently. I've been playing a lot of Abigail. Typically, anyone who's basic attack over amp characters, I'll play. I like my AP characters. But I wouldn't say I really have a main right now. I'm kind of just playing whatever. Here, you guys can... I'll show my match history real quick. Some Magnus, some Abigail, some Nadine, some Felix, some Rozzy, Sua, Leanne, Bernice, more Magnus. Kind of just playing whatever. How does Abigail feel after the nerf? She doesn't really 1v9 anymore. I think she's still pretty good. She's like not like she's susceptible to dying. Like she can't just like waltz into a team and 1v3. I think if she can get burned down pretty easily now. Rozzy needs crit builds. Yeah, she's running a like cooldown build. I need to do some experimenting with Robbie because I need to do some experimenting with Rozzy because I've seen some W max builds and I kind of want to try that out. Okay, I'm finished my burrito. We have more than 5 games submitted, so I will be random wheeling the participants to see who gets replays. I wish I could cover everyone, but one, can't stream for that long, and 2, I especially can't stream for that long today because I have to pick up my partner from work and we're going to a house viewing, which is exciting. But just to catch everyone up, I will run the what do you call it, the promo, so that everyone knows how to submit clips for next week. I saw that some people didn't get in this week, so I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to submit their clips. Welcome to the It's Levi's replay review livestream. Simply fill out the form in the video description or on my community tab ahead of the stream, and your game will be considered for a review during the livestream. Live coaching is completely free, so don't feel the need to super chat or spam the chat trying to get one. It'll be ignored. After the stream, the VOD will stay up so you can always come back to this stream. There will be timestamps in the description in case you missed your review. If you submit a game for a review, you can expect the following. I'm sharing my knowledge and experience with Eternal Return to help you become a better player. All advice, tips, and tricks will be based on my own experiences. The aim is to make you a better player, so please feel free to ask questions in the chat whether it's your own game or someone else's. But do not put anyone down if they make a bad play or die. We're all here to learn and get better. Thank you so much for checking out the stream. Leave a like if you enjoy and let a friend know so we can have more submissions. The more people that submit, the more you're likely to learn. Let's get started. All right, that's just a little bit of housekeeping to keep track of first. All right, so like I said, I always take the first person who submits. The first person that submits this week was Cinderfist. The forms doesn't work, they're expired. Yeah, I stopped them at the start of the stream just so that we don't have constant submissions coming in. But they're usually up for a week at the time. They'll come back up for the next batch. Is this a pre-made team? No answer, because I put that question in after some people had submit because it's squads now and not solos. What is your current rank under silver? What spec can I help you with? Transitioning from early to mid, objective, farm, and fight balance. This is YouTube Live, yep. It's a little different than Twitch. It's kind of odd, actually. So we'll focus mostly on transitioning from early to mid game. Kind of getting your game plan on track for this one. Oh, and you submitted it from a previous patch, though. I can't see it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, this is why I include at the top, make sure it's from the current patch, because if it's from a previous patch, I will not be able to see replays. You can always see what currently patched it is right here. If it's not a 1.3 replay, I would not be able to see it. In that case, we'll go to the next submission then. That would be Vi. not a pre-made team. How to properly do a third party. How to avoid being the last one alive. Avoid being the last one alive is not necessarily a bad thing. Kind of depends on the situation. We'll have a look at your game and see how it goes. I'm a big fan of you, Crouchman. I enjoy your quick guides. The Adina and Martina one were very good. And the Chloe one. I'm gonna need one for Celine coming soon though. Now that she's been made much easier, I think it'd be a fun one. Being the last one alive is the win condition. Yeah, technically so. Okay, I'm glad this one works. I am looking for Virescen.
There's no such thing as luck. It's all about skill. You sound like a teacher.
I should definitely include... Okay, wait, I was right in front of me. Should include what character you play, so it makes it easier for me to make a note of that. Okay, first of all, make sure you're crafting when at a box or after a mobility spell. That was good, but you don't need to be crafting in the middle of the path, typically. It's a little bit of a waste of time. Oh, I appreciate that, Crouchman. Crouchman, I'm going to have a big project for you in December if you're interested. Are you opening it up again after the stream? Not immediately after the stream. It'll be after the patch on Thursday. Chickens are a little bit slow at level 2. I would maybe hold off on doing them unless you need the leather. It doesn't look like you need the leather though. I like this rocks grab because it's on your path. That part's good. Sounds good. Will do. I haven't seen this build much. This is a Hospital Factory beach build. I've seen Forest. I don't think I've seen Uptown Factory Forest. This must be a new build. I like that we're using Q to run between boxes too. Good. Always make sure to get your fastest like choice of mobility. You could probably QE as well, even if you wanted to. Q is probably enough though, unless you have to go over walls. Do we have all our items? This box here and this box here is part of the cluster. I would be looting those. Oh, it looks like you have everything, so you're probably good. All right, 20 seconds into day one. Definitely not a slow time by any means. It's not crazy fast. We won't talk about that E, but I think if you clean up a little bit of spots where you're crafting and where you're grab chickens, like the XP helps for sure, but you typically want to be able to take them fast. We won't talk about that E either. Both of those E's can be fixed probably by unlocking your camera. That's probably just a camera lock thing, because it kind of shifts you a little bit. But you're on good pace. You got bears here too. What's your team doing right now? Driana's getting wolves. Abby's cooking. It's fine. Realistically, because you have an open beach, they would probably group up with you. Is it worth using Blink getting your purple items? Absolutely. Pretty much your first Blink should just be helping you route, because it'll be off cooldown around this time. Taking bears is good. If you throw that in this direction, they'll like up towards your walking. You can use the water for pathing to your next target. It's just a small thing though. Not too big of a deal. Okay, if we look at your comp, right, you're Leon, Abigail, Adriana. I quite like this comp actually. It's a lot of dive with Leon and Abigail, and then Adri has a pretty easy time throwing Molotovs on top of you guys, throwing Olislicks on top of you guys for damage. I think it's a pretty good comp. I think Abigail's probably going to be the bulk of your damage in this comp. Adri's going to just help clean up where she can. Cause some poke as well. Your job in this is kind of just look for engages to set up Abigail. You're going to be the primary damage or primary engage in this comp. So I would probably err on the side of being a little bit more tankier than doing a little bit more damage. Abby does have shield on W, so she will be able to absorb some poke if she has to. Where is Abby currently? I would have grouped up with Abby here instead of Adri. You know, you guys are... There's no objective down here. Wolves kind of maybe just respawned, but Abby's got a free meteorite and possibly these berries here. I would have went straight there, and it looks like you're just going to TP to her anyway, so... How do the credits that you get from killing someone on their body work? Credits from are based on how many transitions that player had. So if someone was 5 gold, you'll get a ton of credits. If someone only had 1 gold, you only get a little bit of credits. It's a little bit more of balancing out than how it used to work, where you could just take their transitions. Sometimes, like, if you killed someone who had full gold, like and they were the same damage type as you, then you're full gold and can just steamroll the lobby. But if you killed someone who doesn't have the same damage type as you, let's say, then you basically killed them. You did all this work to kill them and didn't get anything from it. So getting credits from the transitions is a way of balancing out. Ooh. Okay, we spam spells a little bit too hard here, I think. Knockup would have been enough had you have hit it. A little bit of a panic ult. This is a good chase down though. Your team does have pretty good chase. I would work on making sure you hit those E's.
You need to be prepared too.
I can basically guarantee 3 types of teammates. You either get the war crimes enjoyers of engage every second they see them, the NPCs for objectives, or absolute chads. Yeah, that's the 3 archetypes basically. Hi Raisin, how's it going? You hate this Adriana play. You hate the character or you hate the player? Because we're not going to be talking shit about any players here. This is not happening in my chat. So it looks like we're grouping up for alpha. This is pretty good. I'd say this alpha should probably go to Abigail for Mithril Dress or Adriana. I would say that you should do your first call in after this alpha. As the kind of main tank for this composition, you're not going to be 5 slotting your build too much. You want to look to just get like some of your mithrils online. I don't know what the arm piece for this build is. I know Monarch is typically what you go, but I don't know what it is for drop near. Maybe it's still Monarch, but you can also go Racing Helmet here. You could also go Mithril Armor, I think wouldn't be bad. Just so that you can help take damage from enemies. So it looks like Adri will take it. So you guys are going to stack Adri. I don't think it's bad. I just think in this comp, Abby's a little bit stronger. She's more enabled by your knockup. It's a good play here. Ult to cancel the 11 taunt would have been good. Or not taunt, jump. A little bit susceptible to getting counter engaged on too. But that's good. Ult hits. Not great ult, but you got 1. Careful about this chase. You have 2 cooldowns down, so. Cicella doesn't have a ton of damage though. If you guys can kill her, I think. Yeah, focusing the 11 here is not going to be the play. Okay, so we'll go back real quick. Hopefully this replay doesn't break. You guys caught out the Luke after he extended too far, which is good, right? This part's good. I think your team needs to recognize here that you're also low health and kind of you just take the pick on 1 and reset. If they do want to hard force this engage, which I still think they can do, Abigail kind of raw E's in here and gets taunted, which is fine because she gets out of the Cicella's like burst. But I think here, instead of knocking up the 11, I think you just walk straight past her and try and knock up the Cicella. She's already half health. She's going to take tons of damage with her health being this low already. So Adriana realistically only has to throw an ult charge, which she has coming back up in 2 seconds anyway. Hitting 11 here with ultimate up, like you're never going to burn down here as burst characters. So 100% I would go on the Cicella here instead. Do you always give your RNG drops to your ADC, or is it worth it to keep it on yourself if you're playing a tanky bruiser? It depends on the character. And it also kind of depends like on the team comp that you're playing as. You want to give it to who's typically going to be the biggest threat in your comp. Unless you need like something specific like healing reduction or something. Sometimes when I craft butter toast, I sometimes only create one when I'm sure I create 2 of them. If your inventory is full, they could just drop on the ground after you craft them. For me, the best solo character is Cicella. I miss every skill shot, but still can ult and do 1,000,000 damage. There's I'd recommend looking into like basic attackers then, if you're someone who doesn't like playing with skill shots. I'm also like that. I don't like characters with too many skill shots. Abby's also pretty good. Like the W is really hard to hit unless you're me. And so if you saw my last video, I missed like 2 Ws in a fight. That was terrible. But for the most part, her abilities are pretty easy to hit. Right here, this is another call-in time. You're going to see on radar scan that there is people fighting here, but I would also be looking to call in around this time, and it looks like you guys are, which is good. This will probably be a third party once you realize. I would start moving now, right? Like you can see the Echion on the map. If we zoom out, you guys would just had radar scan for coming to day 3. So you can see 2 pink players here. You can see the Echions all the way down here. You guys can close the gap from here to here. You're not going to probably get this Luke, but you can definitely close the gap and take a 3v2 before the Echion gets there. So that's kind of just like a kill opportunity. I don't think it's bad to like not go for it. I just think that you do have the option. Mai's low on SP and she doesn't have any SP drinks. Not that you'd know that, but she has bread with tears, but not that you'd know that, but it's just like something to consider in a fight. And then Hayes is going to have cooldowns too. She just used W. So as soon as radar scan pops up, typically you want to instantly open your map.
So you can catch more people, taking them down one by one. This is the beginning. You need to be prepared too.
I miss every E and 80% of R. It happens. This team's looking to look like it's going to come fight you anyway. Once again, I would recommend holding alt until you confirm the knockup, because there is a bit of a window there where you don't have to worry about them getting out of your ult. This is good peel. Mine's not really a threat for Adriana though, so I don't think you have to use abilities on her. Just being around her will be enough to scare her away, especially with no OSP. But just unlock your camera before you go for QE. I promise you'll hit it more. Because I think that's the issue, because you're only barely missing. And that's kind of the issue I have when I play Leon, is that I barely miss just from keeping my camera locked. If I just want to auto, I pick Chloe. She kind of imbalance if you can hold position for a few seconds. I like Chloe. Chloe's a good pick. Abigail seems too strong. Absurd shield, even at level 1. Dash resets and vulnerability, damaging all Q damage. And oh boy, once she gets that Omni safe, then GG go next. Yeah, I think she's very strong. I just think that she's like easier to deal with now because of the nerfs. She has a good shield, but she doesn't have great survivability unless you like build her bulky, but then she sacrifices on damage. And if she's not building damage, you probably shouldn't focus her anyway. She's just one of those characters that like looks crazy too, like in a team fight, because she has all this AoE and like huge, like QR looks like you're gonna lose a ton of health. But if you don't panic and just kind of like focus her down, she's pretty decent to deal with. She can't just like raw E into a fight. Late game is still OP. Yeah, her late game's still very oppressive. But I think she's manageable to like keep her down a little bit. Here for a purple box, I would imagine. I can't see the timer, unfortunately, because we love the spectating glitch. But I would imagine it's night 3. Yeah, okay, now it's night 3. I don't hate purple box here. I think it's fine. One thing that I do want to mention though is that you guys got the night 1 bears and you didn't return back for the night 2 bears plus horde. I think that's one thing you definitely could have done. There's also going to be a purple box spawning here too, which you probably won't be able to get due to zone closer, but same with like the uptown bears. You guys got those as well. Would have had the timer for them. Make sure you're returning to your hunts. That's a chance at getting another transition if they drop them. You got bears here too, which is good compensation. I don't know Leon priority transitions, but I'm not sure if weapon is the main transition. I would check in the Discord again because I think he might go Mithril first, or even glacials. Here you guys have vision. Once again, this is the 11 though. I'd be hesitant about engaging for the 11. You should probably know her team is nearby. Like, I think it's fine to throw a Q, but I wouldn't E into her. Here, you'll just get burned down. There's the E. It's the alt onto the 11. Not really a priority target. And this is a team you fought before, so you should know their team comp. Like, even through all that burst, 11 lived, right? Like, look how much 11 lived through. You guys are gonna win this fight, but this was a very close fight that didn't need to be. I don't think, like, it's bad to engage on the 11. I think if you're gonna engage on the 11, be sure that you're doing it to interrupt her taunt. If you can cancel it, that's huge for your team, but I wouldn't just raw engage, raw ult like that. It has the opportunity to go really bad. But you guys won that fight because you gapped. That's good. I also don't think their Luke did much in that fight. Yeah, he's also untransitioned, so a little bit of a diff. He played. I don't play Dota. I think I tried it once. I didn't really like it. So we're on Mithril Dress now, so maybe that's... I don't hate Mithril Dress here. I still think that you might need to be a little... Oh, I guess Abby's going tank. If Abby's going tank, then it's fine. But I think one of you has to be the tankier one. You're kind of the more supportive player in this, so I think it should have been you, but that's hard to communicate if you're not pre-made. I like that you're taking hunts here. You guys are some of the stronger teams, so I think you can force a fight. You would have seen them on vision, which is good. Engaging on the Jackie is always good too, or the Bernice. Stepped in a trap is unfortunate, but if you ult through the... I think Leon can ult through the trap. This is still winnable. Yeah, you have to kill the Bernice. Once again, we're on the 11. How do you avoid third parties? By taking vision before you take a fight and assessing whether there's a team nearby or around. Hi, just dropping by. This is my replay actually, and yes, this is a pre-made. Ah, okay, gotcha. You guys are playing good so far. I would just worry about priority target selecting mainly. We had a few engages where we've engaged on 11, which is not the best target, especially when you have other targets in range. It's one thing if it's like that's the only target in range. This here, okay. Your Adri called in here, which is a little wild. You guys would have seen this team walking up, and you guys need to assess your team as a whole. You guys know that you just took a fight. You have alt. Adri's got all, I guess she has all her alt charges. And Abby saved alt. So I guess it's fine to take a fight here. I wouldn't have called in. I think that's a little crazy. But what's happening here? Let me go back.
You need to be prepared too. I like this feeling. Should we take bets that you can catch more people? I like this feeling.
So right here, you would see this team. And I think staying still obviously isn't the play, but I think you need to kind of react quicker so that you don't get burned down by the Chiara. It's really hard, right? Because you have in this moment that you're right here, you have about half a second to like decide if you're gonna fight this or if you're not gonna fight this. And on top of that, you have to decide who the priority target is, right? So this is the Chiara 11 Abby team. You probably either have to kill Chiara or Abby first. You probably won't have time to look at their transitions. Actually, it's 5 transition Abby. You definitely have to look for Abby. I think you need to kind of sacrifice yourself here. This is like not the, like you never want to take a fight where you're starting in the middle of their team, right? Like you want to get your engage off. So it's kind of okay that you go down here. Like I said, Adriana probably should have held this call in once she saw the other team. But I think you kind of just like ult into the wall as you did. You made the right play and your team just needs to run here. Like I don't think they try to like get damage back or anything, especially with all these zones being red. Like you just floor it out of here. Like I know Adri probably wants this call in, but that's kind of the what happens when you call it in front of another team. And like that, the third party is a little unavoidable because you don't have vision of fire station that they just ran out of. So Adri has 130. Okay, Abby has enough credits for you, which is fine. This is just a straggler 11, so you don't have to worry too much about that. She's just gonna flee through red. Wick here is good. I'm surprised there's no other team on it. I would have healed to full before starting it up, just because you know that there's gonna be teams nearby. So 11's a little disruptive. She's kind of just trying to rat. I think you guys need to disengage here. Maybe like try to get Wick with like an alt charge or a Q. That's like not really something that you're going to be able to do at this point with a teammate down. This gets avoided by not starting Wick without vision. As you can see, the map's dark. See if I can go back one more time without it breaking. So right here, you guys cannot see, if I toggle your vision, you guys cannot see this team here, right? All you know is that there's an 11 nearby. And you're 5 teams left in the game with Wick up. So you can infer that there's a team probably going to be coming to it. I don't know if this got started by accident with the fire, but even if you had just walked up to like here, you would have seen that this team was running, or heard them rather. And you know not to start Wick. It's the same thing with fights. Getting vision first. You kind of have to be a little bit of a vision goblin because there's so much harder to get cameras now that bats don't 100% drop them. I would definitely not do anything without vision first, pretty much. Especially until you're getting used to how like different characters path type of thing. Once you get a feel for like how the lobby is, you'll be able to assess like who's strongest, who's not in the lobby. This now is a little unfortunate because you can't revive right here, it's pretty much just an escape angle, but I guess you can rat to see if you can try and get second, but you can also just take the +10 with escape. Or can you still escape on day 5? I'm not actually sure. If you can escape, I would escape, but if not, I think you can escape on day 5. I would also not be taking hunts. Like, this team now will see that there's pings here, and like, what really do you need mastery for? Like, you're not going to be able to 1v3, right? Like, especially a wick team. If you need the credits, that's one thing, but you have enough credits. Realistically, if they saw the pings, they should just hold this gate. Because they don't know if that's... Well, I guess they can assume that it's you, but... Same way here. They're going to see these pings, and now they see you. I know you probably wanted the camera off the bat, but... One thing you could also do is that, like, you can queue from, like, here into red over here if you have to. That'll just help you get around. And then from here, you can queue from here into here. And that's like, if they were holding the gate, that's how you would probably get in if you had to. Looks like they're just engaging on the other team though. You've escaped in the final zone with a ton of teams? Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know.
Trust yourself. Unless you have a twin like us.
I think Chiara Abigail is a really good comp. You actually might be able to pick up a kill here. Unfortunate. Maybe a kill on Chiara for some bonus. Or Mai. Well, this might be winnable.
I like this feeling.
Pop off, King. If you can win this. You have to chase them, though. You can't let them rest.
Victory is one step closer.
Oh, unfortunate. Abby's going to get the rest down. That was a good try, though. Oh, and Shira has the ult back up. I don't think there's a time restraint on escapes anymore. Okay, there used to be, because I thought I remember that. I appreciate the point, but we don't see the mouse. Yeah. I'm kind of just like using it to move the camera. I'm not like... Normally I draw on the screen, but I don't have my pen open. That was a close game. You did really well that game though. But in terms of like... how to avoid being third party, it's establishing vision mainly beforehand. Like, you almost want, like, in the smaller zones, you can establish vision and, like, the zone you're in and the one next to you, right? And it's not necessarily about, like, holding the vision entirely. Just, like, if you see a team walk in, that's more knowledge than you had. If a team takes the vision console, you get a pretty good idea of where at least one person's standing. Like, it's just stuff like that. But that was a good game, though. How you avoid third parties? See them coming. Yeah, I mean, it used to be a lot more difficult with combat pings, but now that those have been removed, it's like some third parties are just going to be unavoidable, right? Like, there's just not enough zones open. There's just teams nearby that you can't account for. That's just like part of a battle royale, but you want to like put yourself in a position to best avoid the third party if you can. Getting vision doesn't mean like you'll never get third party. It just means that you might, like 1 out of 3, you might see it coming. Martina still gets combat pings. Yeah, fuck that character though. All right, next up. Cheys is next up. I need to turn off that sound effect. I hate it. We're gonna mute that. I did not like that. Let me find your replay. Cheys has had a replay before. I do remember doing them in the past. What aspect can I focus on to help you get better? Same thing as last time. See what are my errors to see if I'm doing something right in a team fight, playing with random teammates. Good to know. So obviously there's going to be a bit of a communication barrier because you're probably not in voice chat. Why did I open the store? You're probably not in voice chat with your team. So I will try to account for that. Priority targeting and setting up vision, yeah. Priority targeting is hard because it's something you'll have to like get used to while playing the game. So we're on Debi and Marlene. So we're on Force Field. One of these is the faster twin, right? Is that how that works? There's a way to get movement speed out of her kit. I forget how. Is it W in blue? Have a good night, Crouchman. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. I would hold off on doing, well, you got some help from Leon, but I would hold off from doing dogs for leather. It's a little slow. Even though you have weapon, like I think it's fine because you have weapon, but just in general, it's a little bit slow. There's not much. I guess you have to go to chickens over here, which would have been fine. But alley's such a contested zone. Isn't red just overall faster? Maybe. I feel like one of them has faster speed, but I'm not sure. I like that you're using your eagle in between each. Just remember that your E does go over walls, so you can cut corners with it. You don't have to like E around corners or anything. I like wolves here. You take those quick enough now, so I think that's good. Kind of cut off your speed gate with crafting here. But you're full build anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Gonna look for some day hunts. 22 seconds, not bad. Could probably be a little quicker if you get leather off something else other than those dogs. I would check where top Debi and Marlene's are getting their leather. It might be those dogs. I can't imagine it though. TP on a teammate's really good here, especially one that's in mid combat. I like that a lot. And there's a campfire here to be able to get your breakfast sandwiches online. Looks like that's what you're going for. And you guys have bears down here too. Tazia is starting them without you. It's part of the solo queue problem. It's fine. Your haze won't get any, but in this comp, pretty obvious that you're the front line. Multi-damage comp with Haze and Tazia, so you probably won't be fully transitioned. You'll just be enough to try and be tanky for one of them. Probably either battle suit or myth rolls or some combination of the two. Don't have weapon skill yet, so you can't parry the sleep. Kind of want to go back and look at that fight, 'cause I think there's kind of a bit of your teammate getting caught out. Yeah, your Tazia gets caught out a little bit here. I think she died. Oh, she has stasis. But once your Tazia goes into stasis here, I think this is kind of a fight loss just from the health bars. Like you've got Tazia almost dead. You got Haze in melee range of Leon, about to fall asleep, half dead. I think here you just kind of sacrifice your teammates and just get out. Kind of lucky that they're getting third party here. Otherwise, that probably would have been a full wipe. I would try to recognize a little bit earlier that that fight's lost, and that your team's not going to be able to get out. It's so hard when you're solo queuing, right? Because it's hard to like abandon your teammates when you think a fight's going to be lost, but it's just tough. Hi Matcha, how's it going? You guys are here for tree, which is good. Hopefully you guys grab vision. I like that you're still getting hunts along the way too. Try to let your carries hit them if you can. Tazi was trying to walk up for it. What do you do if your teammate tilts and leave the game? Nothing. Report them, I guess. Like, it's not really much you can do about that. So unfortunate that you got a teammate that thinks it's better to leave the game than try to play it out and try. Yeah, there's not really much you can do about that. I would imagine first tree is probably better on Haze here. Unless neither of these two, I like Haze gets Scotty. I would probably go Scotty on Haze, try and get her that power spike. And then I would like look to call in a tree if I were you. One thing that you can do when playing solo is that you kind of want, like, this is for playing solo and playing in lower elos. So you want to pretty much look to call in whenever you can, like have the credits, unless you're saving for res. Levitine's good. It's a good ult there. Late stasis from Vanya. Like that you're pushing Hedgen off your Haze too. And you need a body block for her though, in case she doesn't dodge. Like that. Just be conscious of her health bar. I know the better play is obviously for both of you to dodge it, but if your Haze is not going to dodge it, it's better that you take the hit for her if you can live than her going down like that. Tazia might be able to chase down Hedgen here. She is out of SP. I don't think this will be a full wipe, but especially not with third party 11 here. You guys should kill Hedgen though. Once again, remember that your ego's over walls. You could have cut this wall right here. You will get her though. Good job. I just played bad and was Combat Master 3 at day 2, but it wasn't my fault. I mean, bad games happen. Like, a teammate having a bad game is not an excuse to leave the game. Like, it's not really on you that your teammate left. The way I kind of look at it is like if you queued up to play a full game, regardless of how it goes. So should stay to play the full game. Free battle zone, which is nice. I'd like to see you guys run over and take these mutant hunts because they're just respawning. Battle zone reward probably should go to a teammate as well, since you don't have the option for Mithril. I'm glad you guys are queuing up, or queuing up. I'm glad you guys are clearing out the hunts after your battle zone. You want to always be doing that if there's hunts, especially in a zone like Temple, where you'll have bears and hordes spawning. Gives you a chance to get more RNG if you can. Like that, like the meteorite. Hayes probably wants Mithril Dress, but I think should still give the meteorite over to either Hayes or Tadia. Tadia can probably go Death Rune, I imagine. Oh, she has one. I definitely think there's better people to stack in this comp. I think the spike that Tadia gets over Devil Meteorite's probably better than Blade Boots, but she dropped it. I mean, like, if she drops it, you might as well just take it, but Typically in this comp, I would imagine you would only look for like 2 or 3 transitions at most. And then you might even want to call in a transition for somebody with excess credits if you have. Good job getting your bears again. You guys had the bear timer. These are getting crazy lucky with the mutants. That'll be a ton of XP. No rare resources off the bear, unfortunately. I like that you're always walking around in red form too. I believe that's optimal so that you can engage into blue form. From what I've seen with Debi and Marlene.
So is resting itself.
I also look into upgrading your tactical skill to at least to level 2. Once again, always check with what the KR Debi and Marlene's are doing, but in a comp where you're the solo frontline, I would very much like value having at least level 2 tac skill. You guys see pings over here. Can look to engage, especially with it just being 2. A little early on the Tazia wall. If I was Tazia, I would have liked to see her hold off and let you go first. These guys do have a tree back here that you guys can grab. I'd look to do that after your call-ins. $440 credits you should absolutely be spending here too. You're kind of just sitting on credits. One thing with this comp too is, like, I know it came out differently in the first fight, but you being the solo frontline, you are likely to die. Like, if anyone's gonna save credits for res, it's probably gonna be Tazia here. She has the most tools to get herself out. Force core is here. I imagine this goes to Guardian suit. That's a good upgrade. I like that. And you guys have wolves here. Should be able to get a tree for probably Hayes for Scotty. So far this game's going really well. You guys got a ton of objectives. Let me do a mastery check because I imagine, yeah, you're well ahead on mastery other than this team. Leon's got 14. They must have been constantly fighting. But so far, so good. Another meteorite. This is why you want to make sure you get your hunt rotation so that you're always giving yourself a chance for rare resources. This tree is still alive. You guys need to collect that tree. We kind of just gave up a free tree on the map. Pings down in factory. I like that you're running to them. I don't think you guys are going to get to them in time. Yeah, unfortunate. I would like to see you guys take these wolves as well. Especially, you guys can always just path back this way. This team of 2 is going to get this tree. Oh no, it's a team of 3. Okay. So, a little unfortunate there. Be mindful of what objectives are around you. Even if you have to spam ping, like... We did grab the mutants, which is good. You guys just saw that this tree now had been taken, so you know there's a team at least in hospital. I don't know if you would have heard dagger skill from there. That's the fun of Daniel right there. It's a tough fight playing against Daniel, right? Because he can just do that. You guys are playing this fight really well, though. Really good recovery after the Hayes death. I probably would have pulled the ult a little bit quicker once Daniel had popped out to try and keep your Hayes alive, but overall still a really good ult. And you guys wiped them because Daniel kind of killed your Hayes and not the Tazia. I also don't think that Mai peeled very well for that Bernice, which also helps. Typically Mai wants to ult Bernice while he's in your ult so he doesn't get hit by it, but I don't think she did. Yeah, a ton of credits again. I would look to either call in tax skill or give a teammate a transition here. I know you're probably tempted to call in Mithril Shield, but at this point, your team is so strong, you just need to stay alive for them. Daniel.exe, that's the Daniel experience right there. Force core, is that auto arms? I think auto arms is fine. I don't hate it. I just think that you have enough tankiness, I think, to tank whoever's left. I think it's going to be a bigger issue of if your team has enough damage to burn through the rest of the teams. Ping's behind you. Radar scan, so you'd see this team of 2. Know that they're the only team on this side of the map, so you can take this fight easily. They're gonna flee through red. Oh, they revived. This team just end up not fighting? Oh no, the hedging. Okay. So like, I swear there was a team up there with them. A lot of objectives on the map here. Kind of need to establish a value too. So like, I like that you're not moving around the map crazy amounts because that leads to getting caught out. I like that we've kind of spent most of the time between temple, stream, hospital, and factory. This is pretty good. But there's 2 purple boxes here in fire station, which the value for that's 2 transitions. That's always very high. So I would probably look to head over there. You can take the hop in cemetery into pond and then start pathing up. And if you see that it gets taken, you know there's a team there. Also, don't go too far so that you can be at Wick. This would have been like a minute ago. I would have done this on like day 4, but you guys kind of got roped into a fight over here, so it's not really that big of a deal that you missed out on that. As long as you guys are keeping your mastery up. This is very good hunt rotations, this game. I swear I just heard Chiara's voice. Really good catch on the Chiara here. Burned her down. I would have pulled the ult a little bit quicker. I think your job in this fight is basically be in red form and then have your E ready for Daniel to come out of ultimate with. I would look to finish off the Chiara here, just so she doesn't get rezzed. Or I guess, I don't know, like, you can kind of keep her alive if you want, but I think giving up Wick's not worth it to do. So just finish her off. It's not worth waiting a minute and a half. Instead of chasing here, well, she got her, so I guess it was worth, but just know that Wick's spawning and you are giving up Wick to chase that kill there. I probably, actually, I think I would have went to Wick instead of trying to chase that kill. I think that's the better call, but once again, you're not a team, so it's a little bit hard to assess. Do a mastery check again. The dial in's very strong. That's about it though. I think you guys are the strongest team still. Do you guys have the vision console here? I didn't see. You guys don't. So you don't know if there's another team around. Yeah, I like that you're not taking this fight. Then you can get vision of cemetery, and then you'll realize that there is no team around, and then you can take the fight, which is good. Kind of waiting for you over the wall here. And then on radar scan, you would be able to see this team. Nice. So you guys played that really well. Good patience. Waited for radar scan. Get full vision of all the teams. Now you know that you're the only team down here. There's a straggler Aya, but that's not a big deal. You can look to engage now. Oh, Tazia had the W on dial in there. Keep playing with your team. That's good. E was a little bit wide, but that's fine. Kind of how your Tazia is playing is kind of how you need to play. I think you need to be a little bit more aggressive once you guys got to pick on one character, because like you're the front line right now, but you're kind of running behind your team. So just recognize when you can play a little bit more aggressive. Tazia is pretty good too, which is always nice. You want to lead the fight in this comp. You don't want your backline mage to be leading it. You want Tazia to dive in after you've gone in. Not trying to force the engage. But that's good though. You got some picks. There's only one full team left. Got a Rat Aya and a Rat Dylin. Make sure you don't get third party by them. Walking in is definitely the better choice here than hopping over the gate. So in this comp, Sicela 11, Lee Dylin, kind of have to kill. You at least have to push the Sicela out and then look to kill Lee Dylin. Or just kill the Sicela. 11's gonna get a huge taunt here. I like the idea of ulting to try and save your haze. I think it had to be a little bit quicker. Like if you had canceled the 11 taunt, I think it would have been really good. You should still win the fight anyway, because 11 shouldn't have the damage to kill you. Nice. But you had the right idea. Let's see if I can go back real quick. So like the moment you hear or see 11 E, you just have to kind of be ready for it. So you see her right now. You know that, like, you can see this like indicator, right? Like, you know this 11 is right on top of your haze and has put distance between you and your Tazia. So you either have to like create space for her team not to be able to follow up, which this Dylan's doing a good job of running up with her 11 so that she's already going to be able to follow up regardless. And the Sicela is too far back because you're kind of pressuring her by just being in her way, which is good. The moment this taunt comes out though, I would have ulted, like either to try and cancel the taunt. You don't really have the angle to try and ult the 11 away, but if you're on top of your haze, you can ult the 11 and the Dylin this way and kind of just keep them at range. I know with like big team fight ultimates like Debi and Marlene, you want to hit those big 3-man ults, hit the whole team type of thing and then nuke them down. But in this fight, I think it's better to try and keep your team alive. So pulling the 11 out, if you hit the Dylin perfect, Sicela's too far away to hit, so don't worry about her. Like you made the right play, right? Like even if you ulted here, I think it might have sucked the 11 in, but it'd be close. Instead of Wing here though, this is when you should have ulted. You should have just raw R'd to keep your haze alive. You can even if you wait this long, you can ult in a straight line now and get your big 3-man ultimate, which I think you tried to do. Yeah, it's just like you hit it too. It's just unfortunate that the haze goes down. And Tazia did a really good play here of recognizing that you're going to hit the ult. She puts her ult a little bit wide, but I think it still hits from there. Oh, that's her E. Sorry, that's not even her ult. There's her ult. She's going to get a lot of burst damage off this empowered Q here. So all the steps were done correctly. They're just half a second too slow, which is kind of the difference between like low elo and high elo. Like you still made the play, which was good enough to get this fight win, I'm assuming. I don't think there's any way they're Dylin 1v2s you guys here. Unless she flashes on you, then maybe. Okay. She still got it.
More people.
Um,
All right, let's keep
you made the correct play, which is good. Always good to make the correct play. Just
more people.
making it a little bit quicker, and like you win that fight 3-0 probably instead of like barely winning at 1-0.
Timing on rest is important.
But your mind's in the right place.
You know there's no time to
And this is just the straggler Aya. This shouldn't be a problem at all. You just dive her. Yeah.
You need
Pretty much doesn't matter how you play that. You guys kill her regardless. So good game, Cheys. Good mechanics on the Debi and Marlene. I forget what character you submitted in the past, but you definitely look a lot better on the Debi and Marlene. So I continue playing her. I oddly feel like it was Emma, but it might not have been Emma. Oh no, you submitted a Nikki game, a Nikki and a Rio game, I think. And yeah, I would definitely keep playing Dema. They looked a lot better in that game. All right, next up. Wallensnite? I think that's a new name. Goes by Wallen. Pre-made team, you're EU, but you're playing with your friends from Asia on the Asian server. Okay. So probably a little bit of ping compensation. Unranked, hasn't had a replay before. I'm the Abigail. What can I do in terms of better team fights, and especially the last team fight? I want to know what went wrong in the last fight. Was I overextended, or should we just retreat after that kind of thing? Scuff Nath upon all. Okay, so big emphasis on the final team fight. My 200 ping game is gonna wow your eyes. I'll keep in mind that you're on 200 ping. Don't worry. Oh, I forgot to grab the code. So I think I should have retreated and I panicked and kept pushing. It happens. You said you were Abigail?
Let's get started. Time to riot. You're so
Force spawn. There's so many Abby's builds currently. Make sure that when you're pathing, you path to this car first. You did good by grabbing the speed gates. You can also grab this speed gate and then hit this car and then path in this direction. Also, remember that this is not a full distribution, so I would take it if you need less items, but if not, you probably should just run all the way to here or down. So you need a full distribution. It doesn't look like you needed a full one, so that's good. Spawn on top of a teammate's a little unfortunate. You'll have to loot behind them, especially with an Abigail just looting this one too. Typically, I don't know how busy factory was, but you want to try and start in your busiest zone if you have to, just so that you can make sure that you get all the items. Factory's usually pretty busy. Forest was busy, so I started there. Yeah, it's hard when you have Forest, Uptown, and Factory all in your builds. Like those are 3 of the 4 most popular zones at the moment. Doing a little griefing. Rio's teammates here is a little unfortunate, or Ekion's teammates here, so. I think it's fine to look for this kill. I wouldn't chase them trying to get it. It's more important you get your build online, especially when you have competitive zones. I know they're on weight weapon. Kills are nice, but this is just gonna slow you down, and it's kind of like for what? Realistically, Ekion can just double dash to get out, and Rio can just hop a wall. This fight takes way too long to kill them too. We're already heading into night one. You will thankfully get the Ekion, it looks like. But now we're stuck on night one with 2 items, so hopefully we don't get punished for that. No one around currently, but we'll see. Hopefully this is your final zone too. I like that your team's gripped up with you though. It's okay to do in your final zone. If you had to go to another zone, then I definitely would have advised against it. But you've got your teammates with you here, so it's a little bit okay, and you would have gotten some mastery from it. Just be conscious of how long that you're taking to take these fights. Yeah, farming for mastery is good, but like this is, you're the same mastery you would have been if you finished your build and got the 2 wolves. Good ult there. Unfortunately, I don't think you're gonna catch them, but that's okay.
Are you still watching over me? My feet hurt already, even from far away.
Why do I hear Jackie? Oh, she's up here. Good ult again. Or maybe that was the enemy ult, I think. Oh no, maybe it was yours. Unfortunately, you lose teammate here, but you have enough time to take this tree, I think, before they get there. Yeah, that's a good play. Good that you're getting the tree. You're healing up. You'll have cooldowns for this fight, and mine's on half health, so I wouldn't take this fight. I would kind of just sacrifice my... Oh, unless it's 3v2. It is 3v2. Okay. Good recognize that it's 3v2 to take that fight. Preferably my heals before that fight, though. Unfortunate 200 ping W. It's a little risky on 200 ping. I think Nathapon could have realistically stayed to help you out after the Yuki disengaged, but on 200 ping, require him to hit everything, so it's a little tough to make that play. Where'd you spawn? We spawned in temple. Oh, you're gonna get both trees. Nice. Your team will die for it, unfortunately, but you might be able to help them, actually. Maybe not. Not while you're my dead. It's probably better to just get out. Get your glacials online. If you're looking for an axe, not an axe, a chain, I would recommend going Glacial Shoes over Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is not a huge upgrade for Abigail. Shoes are a good upgrade with first tree. I would go Shoes into Dragon Scale or Shoes into Mithril Dress in the Dragon Scale. weapon's kind of like the last thing you need to upgrade for Abigail.
What's a trip without resting?
Wasn't sure if there's 3 of them or only 2, so I escaped. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad play at all. You made the right play. You're here for alpha, which is good. You're definitely the biggest threat in this comp, so I think this alpha should go to you as well. It kind of just 2-stack you with mithril dress and your tree. Yeah, 'cause you were what, Scythe? Oh, I can't open item menus. Oh, the difference between Scythe and Paradise Lost isn't that crazy compared to Tachyon Brace to Glacial Shoes. Glacial Shoes are a very good item, so just if you got a tree, rush Glacial Shoes first with it. Yeah, you got Monarch. Monarch or Dress, I think, is fine. If you're not going to go Dragon Skill, Monarch's fine. You can just go Persona. Either one works. I wouldn't call here because you should know that there's a team in this battle zone. Good call. You guys saw another team too, so you're not taking the fight. Also a good call. You can look to third party this team if they call in though. Because you should know that there's 2 teams here. Now you won't see pings, but you might be able to hear them over the wall. I think you do. Yeah, I'm gonna assume that you heard them over the wall. Really good recognize there. Oh, you had to play WE in there? It's hard because you don't know how much health this team is. It doesn't hurt to be cautious, but I think you had the angle there to just wipe them. Good kill on the Celine. My kind of went a little too far. Make sure you have like a decisive shot caller. You guys all kind of pick different targets. Want to make sure that you're fighting together. What audio am I hearing? Like, I don't know. Is it Nathapons now? Am I getting Nathapons audio? Definitely want to be looked to calling in at this time. You're about to have 200 credits, which you can save if you want, but you're going to be diving into the fight a lot, so I don't think you need to save for res. Mai can look to call in. One thing about picking Mai is that you do want to try and take advantage of her like custom chest pieces with an AP carry. It is unfortunate that all 3 of you are kind of amp characters, so she doesn't really have anyone to build for. She could build Mithril Crop for herself, I guess, but typically you run Mai with a marksman just because she's really good at peeling for them, plus outdie. Just kind of a comp thing. I have no clue why he ran there. I didn't realize Nathapon ran away. It's kind of a like kind of just needs to be like shot called, I guess. Like one person just has to have a decisive voice, and whether they make the right or wrong call, it's better that you guys all just abide by the same call. Team doesn't like mutants apparently, so free horde for you. It's a lot of XP. Yeah, it's like hard to shot call and play at the same time, but it's always better to just have like one decisive voice. Like obviously you all can like talk about the fight as you're fighting, like making call outs and stuff, but in terms of like decision making, it's better to just have one voice. Even if it's like 3 players making the wrong play generally works out more of the time than one player making the right play and one player making the wrong play and then one person doing nothing. As long as you guys are all on the same page. "13 mastery is really good at this point. That Jackie is 15. That's kind of crazy. 15 mastery with... They have 16 team kills? What the hell happened? Where'd they get 16 team kills from? Jesus. That team was putting in work early. Yeah, they were the last two teams with us, and I didn't realize they were that ahead. Yeah, that's going to be a very hard fight when they got ahead that early. I'm assuming... Oh. I think Nathapon... Well, it's hard for Nathapon to engage on a Yuki, but I think over the wall like that, you guys might be able to just burn down that Yuki if you E over. Kind of have Rio trapped here too. Your Nathapon's taking a purple box. I think it's better to just like take these kills while you can. Omega responds. Also, wait, how did their Echion respawn? Did he get revived? Oh, he did get revived. Okay. That's why it's important to keep track. You will take down the Yuki for it instead, but just make sure you're keeping track. Hey Snowy, how's it going? Some Mega should be yours. You're the only team up here. Other teams are fighting on the other side of the map. You would have saw them on radar scan. So you know this is a free Omega other than the straggler Echion. Who's actually going to run into you guys. Crazy that he didn't TP actually. I think you just force him into red and then turn for Omega. Unless he tries to fight his way out. I know I talk about like staying grouped up on your team as much as possible, but in these like 3v1 scenarios where Echion is going to get dash resets, you do want to keep some space so you can't just dash through your guys and get out. That's a free Omega. I imagine this goes to you for Persona. Or Holy Orders, either one. Yeah, there's Persona. I think that's the best option with that force core. So far, so good. Now it's the kind of like awkward stage of the game where it's like day 4, kind of needs something to do. At this point, you can see that there's only 2 teams left with full members. So not too much to watch out for. The map's still pretty open for only 2 teams left. You guys took these hunts here, so you know that they're respawning. You can pick up a purple crate and some hunts. That's a great chunk of XP. You just walk your way there. You're not really forced to do anything currently. Also, make sure you check your animals. They will drop rare resources sometimes. I can't. In spectator? Can I not? Oh, I can. I can't click this wolf for some reason. That's weird. But yeah, just make sure you check your animals. That one didn't have anything, but... Do mutant wolves drop resources? They have a chance to. They have a chance to drop tree or meteorite. I like that you're in archery. I wouldn't have TP'd. It's not that crazy because you know that these teams are not on this side of the map. But just in general, don't get in the habit of TPing these short distances, especially in the later game. Just walk. It's so much safer. Please obliterate this Leon. As soon as you see the TP come in, you should probably swarm him. Mai can probably prep taunt by shielding one of you guys and then just waiting to E2. You don't check bears or wolves. everything past the first bear or first wolf. So like the wolves and bears that spawn on day 1 won't drop anything, but from every respawn after that, they have a chance to. You should 100% check them. Yeah, all wolves do above level 10. It's not guaranteed, it's just a chance. So, but definitely worth checking. It's regular wolves, regular bears, and mutant bears. Oh, they pinged on the map, so you should be able to see them here. Don't need a W check that bush because you know they're here. Engage on the haze. She's already in melee range, so pretty much an easy kill. Good ult on the tidal wave. It should help you chase down. 200 ping W. Love to see it. That play's not bad because you are getting a full team wipe. Just know that you are giving up wick for it. Once again, when you are the strongest team in the lobby, you do want to be able to try and get wick, just because with that wick buff, it's likely that you kill that team anyway if they run into you. But you're kind of on the other side of the map for it, so not too big of a deal. You did get a lot of wolves and mutants for it instead to help even it out. It's just when there's only like 2 or 3 teams left like this, you won't be able to stall out the enemy team's wick buff. There's basically 2 teams left. So you should have to... You'll probably have to fight into a wick buff. And this comp, you kind of have to... It's tough. Because like Yuki, Abigail, and Jackie are all damage dealers. You kind of have to get a pick, which your comp is good at, but I don't think you can take the full 3v3 quickly. You either have to burn someone down or look to get a pick. Jackie has jump out. Yuki has parry. Abigail might be the play to try and pick off. But she does have her jump, so it might be hard. Plus, she can just ult in the middle of your team. Is there any way to check if you're ahead or like has the most transitions in the game? Not visually. You just have to kind of remember that, like, other than like rare resources on animals, there are a limited amount of rare resources on the map. So like you got Sem Tree and Temple Tree, right? And there's only 2 trees on day 2. You should know that every other team on the map is weaker than you, right? Like unless a team gets both meteorites, which is very unlikely, there's no team that has 2 transitions yet. So that's kind of like how you pace it throughout the game. Like you guys got 2 trees, you got the purple box, you got Omega. There's only like a couple of those objectives other than the purple box on the map. You guys got an alpha as well. Like for every resource that you get, they don't have. So you kind of have to like weigh it that way. It's something you'll definitely need to get a feel for while playing. It's not something you kind of pick up. It's also hard to like think of these things, I think, as you're playing. I don't know if you had vision of Yuki here, but if you see a ping on this console and you see a ping up here with 2 teams left, you know they're split, right? Like that's a very easy split. You didn't see him? It's a little unfortunate that you guys don't see it, but you'll see him hit the wolves, I think. We'll talk about your vision here. It's kind of just have to watch out for pings. Yeah, so you see a ping on the dog here, so you know someone's in front of you. Oh, and then he's just out of vision here as he walks by. That's so tight. I would also grab console here just while you're walking. Okay, so now you see him. So you see the Yuki up here, and they didn't hit console yet, so you have no way of knowing that he's alone. Oh, now you do. They just hit it here. Okay, so once this pings and you see the Yuki up here, I would floor it at this Yuki because it's at most it's going to be a 3v2, right? It just happens to be a 3v1, which you guys are doing. So I think you're making the right play. Especially because he just queued the wolf too, so he doesn't really have a way of getting himself out. We overlap CC is the problem. So this is a communication thing as well. So Mai went in, probably didn't say that she was Eing in, which is why Nathapon dropped the ult. I think in this situation where you caught Yuki farming, he's pretty dead to rights. His only play out is two-handed sword into E. I don't think you need to commit the Nathapon ult just yet. I think you can go with my E on the wolf and then E taunt. She probably is going to taunt into this two-handed sword because you're on 200 ping and can't really wait it out, unfortunately. But this E is really telegraphed for Nathapon, right? Like once he sees, like if he holds ult and he's just walking up, once he sees Yuki go into 2H, he can just E the spot that Yuki is going to parry into. And that's one tool out. Yuki is one of the harder ones for Nathapon to pull in because he has two ways of dodging. One is two-handed sword, which he is wasting here. And the other is Eing into the Nathapon to disarm. I'd be super surprised if Yuki tries to make that E into Nathapon to cancel the pull. Does he have blink? No, he doesn't have blink either, so he can't blink out. Especially with you standing in the way. There's like no way he makes that play, right? So I think he just waits. This is a really awkward position now where two of you are in the Nathapon ult, and then Yuki's going to get out. If this is the ult that you're talking about, yeah, you just once like this is probably as bad as it could have gone, right? Like this is your worst case scenario for this play. So you just reset and get your cooldowns back. It's a little unfortunate, especially because Yuki misses ult too. So like he kind of gave you the freebie, right? Like, he whiffed his ultimate for fun, just so that you guys don't have the full like down two ultimates to one. I think it's fine to kind of chase him because he has no tools here, but I also like you don't know where the other two are. You know one of them is on this for sure. I would have just played back and probably got console, tried to establish where they are. It's, you know, that since this is not going to be the final zone, you will either have to TP in or walk through them. Better option being walk through them, unless they try to hold this, then you can try and do like a flank TP and hope you don't get the spawn that's like right next to them. But at this point, like I would just wait for like not even cooldowns, right? Because the only thing you really burned is the Nathapon ult, and the Yuki ult's way more important than the Nathapon ult. I would just reset so you get a better engage. Nathapon didn't say he was ulting, and I didn't see, honestly. Yeah, it's a communication thing. Even still here, with the blink over the wall, like Nathapon can blink over the wall, Mai can ult if she has to. Like you guys can reset here, and you kind of are. You just need to wait for your Nathapon to get a little bit closer, I think, because you do want to try and be on top of each other so that Jackie can't flank like this. Because she's gonna one hit your Nathapon. Yeah, look at his health is gone. I pause it here just to see if I can go back real quick. See if there's any indication. I don't think you'll be able to know that Jackie's gonna flank like that. So it's kind of just like a hindsight thing. Yeah, especially with Abigail not like fully committing here. You kind of see her here. This isn't going to be something yet you or even Mai can really see, because you're probably like, even if you have your screen like this, you probably can barely see her, or you're just not focusing on her flank. It's a good flank by the Jackie. Like it never hurts to lose to your enemy making good plays. It just hurts when you make bad plays to get there. Like Jackie makes a good play here, don't get me wrong, but this is something that your Nathapon 100% has to call out too. Like he can definitely see this Jackie, especially with the vision toggled. So that's Marceau. He's gonna make that call. Mai probably should ult him. As soon as Jackie ults like this, Mai needs to ult, right? Because Jackie's just used her only gap close. She doesn't have blink, so she can't blink onto him. Mine needs to pull, which again, you're on 200 ping, so Nathan will take some damage due to the ping delay, but she taunts in, and this is again, this is communication for her. She E's in, you back up to deal with the Jackie, which I think is the right play. I think all three of you should back up, especially Mai being a very defensive peeling character. Like, this character is made to peel people off your carries. That's why she gets paired with marksmen so often. I think you guys just back up. This Yuki's kind of non-existent. He has no E. He's not in range to Q. He has no ultimate. Like, he's not a priority target at this point. Jackie is definitely the biggest threat, and Abigail. You guys take this 3v2. Yuki has to walk up manually, which she's back, which is nice, but at this point it's too late. Like, Nathan's like a 6 or a 5 gold wick buff Jackie is gonna tear through this poor Nathan. That was a good ult you had there. Hit both targets. It's just kind of doomed at that point. So overall, that's not too bad though. You guys just need a decisive voice, like, just so that you're all on the same page. But like, the more you guys play together, the more you'll like get a feel for that. You'll learn how each other plays. Not a bad game by any means. This team was also giga strong. Like, 26 team kills is like, even if you make the right play, there's a good guarantee that you guys don't win that fight anyway. That's Wallen's job, not the designate. So I wouldn't be too discouraged about losing to a team like that. Like, there's no way to stall out their wick buff. There's all like 6 transitions or 5 transitions. Like, definitely not a bad game at all. You guys did a lot of good plays too. That was instructive. I'm glad. I'm always here to help if I can. What would be a good place to place cameras besides grass? Typically, you will use them to cover like gaps in vision. I will actually show this off because this will probably be the last thing I show for now. Let me go into practice mode real quick. Don't look at that. I was doing some Celine stuff for a video. So in terms of like vision, if you're gonna be in the zone for a little while, you obviously want to take the cameras. Let me just remove cooldowns. I don't think I need levels, so we'll put some cams in my inventory. So in alley specifically, we have a camera here. We have a camera here, which basically covers nothing. And we have a camera at this entrance. So no one can get into alley from this side without you seeing them because of this camera. But if they were to come through here, they can get in undetected. So anywhere in this area is a good place to put a camera. If you want to put it in this bush, you can, because then it'll cover the entrance and it'll cover people walking up this way and it'll cover the bear. So that's a good bush there. But anywhere over here is fine too. You can put it here. Sometimes I see a camera like behind this wall here. I can't delete cameras, unfortunately. You got the vision here, so you'll see anyone come in from this angle. There's no real way for them to sneak by without seeing this camera, so you're fine on this side. Up here, they have no vision, so you can put one in this bush as well, but anything to cover this corridor. And it's kind of just the same in like every zone. You want to use your cameras to cover gaps in vision. Same if we go to like, let's go to like beach. We have cameras covering this exit. We have cameras covering this exit. So we're pretty good over here. We have nothing on these 2 exits. You can put a camera in this bush. It'll cover, unless someone's hugging the wall, which only like higher elo players might do if they're entering a zone. If not, you can just pull it put it in the zone. Camera's not bad if it gets destroyed because it means it did its job. It spotted somebody. Same thing with like over here. Like you can put a camera to cover both those visions. There's nothing on this side of the map. You don't typically have to worry about this side unless someone's already in the zone. You can put one in this top bush if you wanted to. But it's basically just to cover gaps in vision. And then when you're on... we'll say like fire station, final zone. I don't know if I can make a final zone spawn, but no, I don't think I can. When you're in final zone, you want to also like cover the entrances to like the square. So for firing station, there's one square up here, right? And typically you can just put a camera in this bush and it'll see anyone in the square. And it'll also remove traps. And anyone that tries to get into the square is probably going to come up through here. They don't really have much options. This camera will also cover the inside here. You can put a camera in here too, so no one tries to like flank and hug this wall on you. But the big one is on this side of the map. When you're playing the final zone that's over here, because this is such a small red zone, people will try to flank from this zone and walk in on this side instead of coming in from over here, because one, it avoids the camera, and two, you get the flank. So it's always pretty good to try and keep that flank warded. You also maybe want to keep a camera inside just so that you can see if you're going to get hit over the wall for an engage. There's never really bad places to put cameras. There's just some places better than others. And then when you're in like a final square, the final square for fire station, Jesus Christ, is like over here. You want to try and place cameras that will like help you get rid of the traps but aren't too far up, so where that they get destroyed by enemies. But because this zone has this like shitty car that's in the way, you see how my vision gets changed when I go behind this car? Like, if you can't see on the other side of this car, so unless you have a teammate like standing like here, and here, it's always good to have vision on both sides of where you're fighting. Cameras like this are obviously going to get broken very quickly, so I would be careful with them unless you have like a way of spamming them. But that's kind of just like my take on vision. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Any other questions before we wrap things up? Thank you to give me a better idea. No problem. I'm glad it helps. Any tips on playing Haze and what can I do if I get dove by an assassin character? Any tips on that? Cry. Haze doesn't, hopefully you have like some team to peel. Haze doesn't deal with assassins too well. Try to time your W, I guess, on the mobility spell of whatever enemy you're facing. So if it's a Daniel, try and W where he's at you so that he's not on top of you. Play back a far enough range back so that you don't get engaged on. Yeah, kind of once you see Daniel, it's already too late. Same with like Kathy. Like, don't get sutured, I guess, is like the basic tips. I'm trying to give you more tips than just that. I don't really play too much Haze, but it's kind of the same for playing any backliner into an assassin. You just can't be on their screen, basically. You could also take stasis if you have to. That's kind of the common tactic against Daniels currently, or totem, I guess it's called. If you don't have any peel on your team, I would definitely like look for taking totem. It's kind of your counter though, right? Like the way that you deal with backline squishies very effectively as assassins, so you're never going to be able to like fully be able to deal with them because your character is just not designed to deal with them. But you want to put yourself in the best position possible as to fight them. Keep an eye on how far his E range is. Daniels don't typically take Blink, they take Blade of Truth. So you only really ever have to worry about how far E is. If he does get the flank on you, it's unfortunate. You kind of just die, but that's also him just making a good play. Like dying to a flanking Daniel is not as troll as dying to a Daniel that just runs at you in a straight line. You shouldn't ever be in range. Like if you can see him, you should try to stay out of range that where he could E to you. And if you have like something like a Mai, it becomes easier, right? You get a shield, you get a taunt, you get the alt pull. If you have like an 11, it kind of forces Daniel to ult a little bit earlier than he would if she's taunting on top of you. There's like ways to deal with Daniel. It's just like in every situation, Daniel just kind of has to do the bare minimum to get a kill. Whereas like people have to play out of their minds to avoid getting killed by him. Hopefully that helps a little bit though. You know, like if he like dagger skills out of vision and like appears right next to you, there's not much you can do. It's kind of just him making a good play again. But also like when you're casually walking around with your team, be right on top of your team. Like don't be like walking like 5 feet ahead or behind them. Like preferably don't ever be walking ahead of your team as Cheys, but try not to be like isolated alone where like if he did psycho jump on you for whatever reason, your team's too far away to deal with it. I think that's one thing NA does that KR does so much better at every like elo of the game, is that when like NA is walking, NA walks like this. Like they walk in a straight line or wherever they're walking. That's kind of like how they walk. Or they'll walk like they'll walk like this. This looks like a dick, I'm sorry. Where KR, they kind of walk like this. Like all on top of each other. Just makes it very hard. One, Daniel has the like chance to like misclick onto somebody else, but two, it's just rather very much safe to walk as a team. As a Cheys man, I hate Daniel, Vanya, and Luke. Just got Dove so hard. Luke is a little bit easier to deal with. You should be trying to dodge Luke Qs. If Luke can run up to you in E, then you're too close. He pretty much has to land the Q, and then that's kind of just the skill difference if you can keep dodging it. So not too much, like, and even if he does hit it, try to hold your W to where he blinks. A lot of Luke's will Q and then E instantly. If you can like either blink behind him and then W again to create more space, or just W on his blink, that will be beneficial for you. If he holds the blink, or if he holds his E, anticipating your W, that's just him making a good play again. So I play on Asia server. I'm so scared of seeing KR Shoichi. KR Shoichi is definitely something to be afraid of. I don't know. Do you guys watch Nikki clips on YouTube? Did you guys see the Shoichi clip from the previous? Here, I'll pull it up. That makes me never want to queue KR ever. That shit was scary. See if I can find it. I think it was pretty early into the video, if I remember. Maybe not. Or maybe it was a submission. Is this it? This is it. Look how crazy this clip is. Like, there's a haze right there. What's that haze supposed to do? What's like what is that Shoichi supposed to do? That guy's making like 85 clicks in half a second. The guy's steamrolling anyone. It's tough. It's tough playing against good assassin players too, but it's like they're making good plays, so you shouldn't feel bad about dying to it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming out to today's stream. I appreciate you guys that submitted clips. The form will go live after patch on Wednesday, probably Thursday morning. So be sure to submit your clips in for 2 weeks from now, I believe. Next week will be Play Like a Pro. We'll be looking at a bruiser player. So stay tuned for that. That high risk, high reward play. Yeah, 100%. And it's like, he's moving so quick. It's so hard to counterplay that. Especially in a Shoichi mirror too. But thanks again for coming out. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will try to upload either tomorrow or Sunday. New video. That's the Celine video I was talking about. That should be coming out soon. It's almost done edited. It's fully recorded. So look out for that. Thank you guys. And I'll see you next week.